Okay, Scorpio, luck of the draw, you ended up being last. But let's play some cards. All right. Please check the description box for everything you need to know, including where you can go to run your natal chart to find out what your rising moon and Venus sign are. You do need to know the time that you were born to discern what your rising sign is, because that does change every 2 hours. We will be doing a spread that I created called the Tower, or I guess you could call it a pyramid spread technically. I do have it up there. So if you see me looking off camera, I've got a piece of printer paper with Sharpie all over it, kind of sketched out and showing what the concept is. And it's very simple. It's pretty much there's like a foundation and a structure for the month, and this is what you're building on, and da. I'll explain it as we go. If you're wondering what that sound is, playing with the magnetic poetry off camera here so that you can get your messages. So we'll get started with that. For Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, this is your August message. So we'll see what we see for you. We're going to go into the read with a Deviant Moon Tarot, and then we'll follow that up with some no bullshit advice. Didn't mean to swear within the first 10 minutes, but no BS advice from the Rebel deck tarot. That's actually what the caption on the deck says. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's get started. For you, grab a pen and a piece of paper, and you can go ahead and somebody's eating right now, or they're cooking dinner. But that came out. But yeah, grab a pen and a piece of paper. You can unscramble these, make them into sentences if you like. I'm just going to put them in list format. Yeah, somebody's making dinner. Could be camping and making food, actually. Okay. I want to jot those down real quick where you're at. I'm already in my pajamas. In my comfies, having coffee, and gonna watch some Bob Ross and go to sleep soon. I consider it to be very relaxing. I don't have to think much, you know. In any event, let's get started for you here. Cards have already been pre-shuffled, but we'll go ahead and for the satisfaction that is you all over there, I'll have you kind of witness that happening on camera as well. It was nice. It rained today. It hasn't rained in a couple weeks now, so it's really nice for that to happen up here on the West Coast. How are things on the West Coast? Somebody's wondering how somebody's doing over here. Okay, one more. Alrighty, twist for fairness for you. And we'll get started. So the first position here is going to be 5 cards. And it's going to be the foundation of your structure here. It's basically what you're building your month on. So only take flippers and jumpers if you didn't know. Maximum of 3 helps to randomize everything, leave everything even less up to somebody picking the things out of this. you know, the cards for you. So it really is, you know, is divinely guided as it possibly could be. So that's something that is important to me. I don't know if it's important to you. Well, let's get started, and hopefully I don't have my phone flip forward on me. Yeah, okay. Foundation. So we have one here. We also have a flipper. 9 of Swords. Sleepless nights, worry, nightmares. You could be up in the middle of the night, sick bed, grief bed. Could also be thinking about somebody in the night, but there's some anxiety and worry that's keeping you up at night. Worry wart. Somebody might be calling you that. A monkey on your back. But there's something that you're kind of worried about. It has been weighing heavily on your mind, particularly at night with this card, usually. Anxiety, worry, sleepless nights is typically the thing. Knight of Wands in the reverse. Sagittarian energy. If we were looking at a timing, this could be something that you were thinking about during Gemini season, or that you've been worrying about since Gemini season. So that would have been mid-May through to mid-June. This anxiety is being precipitated by a lack of passionate action or inspired action towards something. So you're either the person who isn't taking inspired action towards something, or somebody else isn't taking inspired action towards you. I actually see this as being carried towards you here. And you're the one who's kind of freaking out in bed, worry that somebody isn't, you know, taking that creative, inspired action and coming towards you. That's kind of what I get there. I mean, of course, you could flip the script, but I don't get that. I kind of get you're the one losing sleep over something. You're the one who's anxious about something or worried about something not working out. Because somebody doesn't seem as passionate about something as they once did. What else? Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I didn't want that to happen either. The Fool, Aries energy, ambitiousness, risk-taking, adventurousness, so that you could learn something. This is Aries energy, I think I already said. It could have been something that was happening since Aries season even. So as far back as mid-April to, you know, mid-April to, no, that would be mid-March to mid-April, or the end of March to mid-April, where it's like you're kind of feeling like maybe you need to take the risk. Maybe you need to be the adventurous one, since somebody else isn't taking the passionate action towards you, because you're starting to get jittery, starting to freak out a little bit there, sitting in your bed at night. So it's like, well, fuck it, I'll take the initiative. If somebody else isn't going to, then I'll take it upon myself. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting there with that. What else? For Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Here is our Leo energy in the reverse, Aquarius season, if we were doing timings. But I think that, again, we see some sort of lack of confidence that this is also breeding. It's almost like you want to take, there's like an urge to take a risk, or to jump out onto the path as an adventurous individual, but you lack the confidence, or that leadership energy has been kind of dwindling because somebody isn't taking that confident action towards you, or they're not passionately acting towards you. The urge is there to bound out onto the path, adventurously take some risks, but that take the lead type of energy that you normally have, the confidence that's surrounding it. It's not there. There's an absence of confidence. Don't feel like much of a leader right now. Leo energy. This is during this time. It's kind of carried into the season where it's like the fire is within you, but the fire isn't actually under you. You know? It's like you don't feel like you've got it in you anymore. It's because it's hard to take risks when you don't have that. You don't have somebody kind of like, well, maybe you never did. Because if you're in an anxious energy right now, and again, like I said, it could be the other person is feeling this and you're the other guy, you know. But whoever's the one that's sitting in the anxious energy, losing sleep, having nightmares, could be just waking up having bad dreams and having to kind of think about it. The freaky nightmares. The only way they ever had confidence, whoever that individual is, was when the action was being taken towards them, when there was somebody in pursuit. Thank you. When somebody was in pursuit, this was never a problem. But now it's like, okay, but now it's like you kind of feel like you've got to be the one in pursuit. Instead, otherwise nothing's ever going to happen, and there's worry about that. But the shitty thing is that because you're not being pursued actively and passionately, and it doesn't seem like somebody's got the fire for you, there's a lack of confidence there. There's a lack of being able to take initiative on it. It's like there was always like a silent validation because this person was pursuing the other individual, and because there isn't that quiet validation through pursual, this person's really worried that if they don't act soon, if they don't take a risk, then there's not really much else that will happen, but they don't have the confidence anymore, because it's like a catch-22. Ace of Wands. You got a lot of passion here. All you have is fire. You have fire. All you have is fire. All you have is fire. All you have is fire. That could be a thing. All that somebody is known for is passion. They're aware that it would burn out. I don't know. Matchstick of the Divine, Ace of Wands energy is the other piece of the foundation here. So the initiation, the burning initiation of something. You have a 0, then you have the 1. The burning initiation of something. It's not beginning something, it's sustaining it. If you better watch yourself playing with fire, you're going to get burned. It's like, this person's worried that something's burned out, or that they're burning out, or that somebody else is burning out in a relationship, or that the fire is gone, the passion is gone, the drive to pursue somebody is, gone. But there is this spark, this creative idea, the initiation. The beginning is always there. The idea is always there. This is also considered a phallic symbol. But that's the shitty thing, too, is that there's always risk and adventure. But somebody doesn't want to talk about it. But it always ends up with this, like, with the stick. Are we past 10 minutes? Yeah, we are. There's always this fire. There's always the willingness with the Shit. Sorry, so my phone does this thing where it's trying to be helpful and adapts with the lighting and everything when I'm showing the cards on the camera. It's not helpful at all. Anyway, what I was trying to say is there's always this willingness to be adventurous and take the risk and embark on the path. The Fool is representative of the human being within the archetypes of the major arcana. And so his job, if nothing else, is to be irresponsible, to be foolish, to put himself out there, to fall on his face in the pursuit of learning, to be adventurous, to take the risk. Even if it means the piranhas eat his ankles up and he ends up with just bloody stumps in the water and bleeds to death, at least he learns not to go dancing in the Amazon where all the piranhas are, you know? But it's about the pursuit of learning. Pursuit, that word keeps kind of coming up as well. But here's the thing, is it worth the risk and the adventurousness to alleviate the anxiety, to be the guy who is taking the risk here because the other person isn't, when it seems to be that there's always a spark? Is it always just a spark? Is it always beginnings? Because that shit always burns out, right? The foundation was a beginning. The foundation was somebody who had a lack of confidence. The other part of the foundation is that everything is set on for all of October. Somebody has a lot of anxiety. Somebody has a lot of fear. Somebody has a lot of worry. And it's in relation to the fact that there isn't an active pursual. Somebody is not taking action. I think I've wasted 16 minutes talking about 5 cards now. I can probably leave it. But it's the fire. You are as a Scorpio individual, are a combination of water and fire. And so there is nothing that burns more than a Scorpio, right? That's why they say the Scorpio has the sting, right? So passion burns within you, even though you're a water sign. So the foundation here has to do with a lot of passion, a lot of energy, a lot of strike forward type of fervor for things in life. But even though there's a lot of ideas, a lot of creativity, a lot of inspiration, there's a lack of confidence and a lack of creative, inspired action and movement forward. Either on your part, on somebody else's part, the two of you, whoever it is. Yeah, all the fire is here. Next up, we have the opportunities and challenges. I like to consider this if we were looking at the structure of a house or a tower, if you will. The doors and the windows, kind of like that cliche about if God closes a door, he opens a window, right? So our opportunities and our obstacles, our opportunities and our challenges, what are Scorpio's doors and windows? I wasn't even going to do this reading tonight just because there's a lot of cerebral energy going on for me right now. I'm working full-time. I've been working full-time pretty much my entire life. But I'm back in a leadership position for the last almost a year. After being in a leadership position for 5 years, I'm not leading as large of a team as I was, but I'm doing math every day, all day. And so I was kind of just hoping to sit back and relax and not really think. And maybe sometimes this is good for not thinking, because I have to shut off and just let whatever comes, like come whatever may, you know. Opportunities, challenges, doors, windows for Scorpio. Doors and windows for Scorpio. Tell us about those doors and windows. And Scorpio's tower for August. Okay, we have 2. The Hermit with the Page of Wands in the reverse, another fucking wand. I don't know what it is. It's you're not communicating either. uninspired communication, not communicating. It's almost as if somebody is shutting down. Virgo energy here, the Hermit. This is where the old wise sage takes his lantern and he travels into the cave of self-discovery in order to discover something of immense worth and immense truth about himself. You know, he has to look at himself and be with himself alone to have those conversations, to introspect and understand something about himself. This might be something of a strength of yours, an opportunity that presents itself that you have coming forward during Virgo season. So during the latter half of August into September, you might have an opportunity to take some time by yourself to converse with yourself and figure out if there is a deep personal truth that you have yet to learn. September 9th. You see the 9? Yeah, going fishing trip, where you can learn something about yourself that you didn't know before. With the Page of Wands in the reverse, challenges here for you, I think, is that you're not necessarily, and this isn't absolute, it isn't a bad thing all the time, because some people don't ever stop communicating, even when they probably should, about their feelings or ideas, their passions. But one of your challenges could be that you don't necessarily, this is a communication that doesn't happen. So this is either a blocked communication of like a creative communication, a communication about an inspiration of some sort, an art project, an idea that you have for something creative. It could also be about passionately communicating to somebody, but it's not happening. That's the thing. It's not happening. And it's in order to avoid being on thin ice or feeling like you're like being like a circus act of some sort. You see how those guys walking on stilts on thin ice. It's almost as if you don't want to be that dancing bear. Do you know? So you refuse, that's one of your challenges. You refuse to jump through the hoops at the behest of another who demands the thoughtful words or the passionate communication. Sorry, I'm just getting the lighting back. The passionate communications. Okay, what else? I know that one flipped there, but I was just fidgeting with the cards. I wasn't like intending for that to happen. I know that I should be just dealing with that, but I didn't. I thought it was not. It wasn't valid. It wasn't valid. You don't passionately communicate. You don't communicate about your passions or your creativity because you consistently invalidate yourself. That's one of your challenges. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. Yeah, you disclaimer yourself a lot. I got this. Okay, this is a perfect story about that, okay? By the way, we do have a flipper here. This is a perfect example. Somebody who invalidates themselves consistently even when they have a good idea. So I have this thing. It's something that I have sit around here. It's a gift. It's a gift from a Scorpio, very dear to me, a very dear Scorpio. And, just one of those things that was like all that could have been, right? And, very sweet person, but it's almost as if, and this was actually probably one of the most thoughtful things that up until then anybody had ever gifted me. Yet at the same time, he invalidated himself by calling it a bullshit crystal. You know, it was, like I said, it was probably one of the most unexpected and well thought out things that I had ever received, but he disclaimed it by, well, not so much that, he invalidated its importance by calling it a bullshit crystal. And it wasn't so much that he invalidated its importance to me, because I still have it, I still use it, it sits here on my desk. I fidget with it when I'm doing readings, you know what I mean? But he invalidated it from his perspective. You know, it's almost as if he had to lessen its importance for himself, because it was always going to be important to me. I don't get gifts like ever, you know? So, that's what I mean by invalidating the importance or the passion or the creativity behind a communication is something like that. You know, yeah. It's one example, you know, but it's like when we disclaimer the things that we're thinking about, and that, or when we say something, but we start with don't take it too seriously, but, you know what I mean? Anyway, let's get moving forward. 26 minutes already, Ash. Yeah, you know, and when we invalidate our communications like that, we also end up diminishing our poeticism, our romanticism, and it actually holds us back from further exploring our poetic, creative, but this is more emotional, our more emotional side. So this is Piscean energy, but it's the knight in shining armor. It's the romantic action that you're taking towards something. And I think these two are kind of holding hands here, to be honest with you. If we have somebody who, you know, invalidates their passionate communications, invalidates their creative ideas when they try to communicate them, or holds back from communicating them entirely, holds back from communicating passionately entirely, and they invalidate their own feelings in the first place, and they dismiss themselves in the first place, but then also they halt all romanticism, all action forward in a romantic regard, in a poetic regard, in a musical regard, in a way that provides the emotionality in a way. Now, this guy is sometimes extremely overt. He's the guy who serenades people, and he can be over the top, but it's more about the fact that there is none of that emotional action towards something. There is no romanticism here. He's dumping his cup out before he even gets anywhere, you know? It's like, I won't talk about it. I won't do it. I refuse to. So, it's a part of the challenge that you have. There's a deep personal truth that you're asking yourself about why. Why is that the case for you? Lastly, for those, what do we got? Shit. Tower for, fuck. I can't, this card vomit, I can't take them. Tower. And it actually landed right on top of the Fool. So, although I don't normally do that, because that's just going to be the way it works, because I'm in a finite space here doing my thing. But the Tower, something unexpected, something surprising. One of your strengths, or, you know, could be that you have a way of pleasantly surprising people. Or building from scratch, or transforming things. You have the ability to take something that has once collapsed and build it into something strong, or start from start from the ruins of something and build it up to be something great. There's something here about with adventurousness and risk taking where that's huge for you. And that's one of your strengths, is that thinking on your feet, even when the unexpected occurs, you're able to kind of roll with the punches, even though you're a fixed sign. You're able to see where the collapse is necessary and how you can build and move forward from there. All right. Let's take a look at the next piece. I call this the staircases, or the next steps on the path. They're kind of route markers to show you whether or not you're going to elevate yourself during August towards the balcony, which would be the piece after this, or if you're going to backslide into a space of not really learning much, or perhaps even kind of like, backsliding further and not really learning at all from your lessons and hitting the basement, because that's the position after the next one. We'll get 3 cards for this, but what are your next steps and symbolism that you could look for during August? Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Okay. Queen of Cups, Cancer energy. So you could be seeing somebody do this quite literally, where they're carrying a cup and they're carrying it towards somebody, but they're trying to kind of catch whatever spills because the cup is overflowing. This is an invitation for you to, of course, still be discerning and with your heart space and with your emotions. You don't want to give freely of your cup without knowing when it's time to put the lid on the cup and shut the people who do not deserve access to your emotion or your waters out. You want to shut the people who don't deserve access to that. You want them out. You don't want them to have access to your waters. But it's also about having a good relationship with your intuition. Being discerning, being a discerning lover, being a discerning friend, being a discerning family member is one thing. Knowing your worth is also one thing. But at the same time, you also, this is an invitation for you to remember that this is also about being emotionally intelligent enough to know when it is okay to offer your waters. Because we've already seen here in the challenges and opportunities position where, and I think especially as a fixed sign, you may be less inclined, and even more so less inclined, to share your waters at all with most people, even those who are deserving. And so follow your intuition on that piece, but also ask yourself if it's intuition, stubbornness, obstinance, fear, what is keeping you from sharing of that cup or accepting the cup? I think that you've held back far more than you have offered the cup or accepted the cup. Being the proverbial, emotional connections with others. It doesn't necessarily have to be just love. Remember, it doesn't have to be just romanticism. It can also be family connections. It can be friendship, right? Anything that has emotion and emotional attachment involved. It can also be a connection to the maternal side. But yeah. What else? Next steps for Scorpio. Any symbolism that will help them on their journey? Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. The meeting of the two. You might go somewhere where you see two people toast. But this is showing where it's necessary for you to break bread with somebody. It could be where you go for a drink or you go for a meal. It's a meeting of the minds in between two individuals. I don't necessarily know that this is you, though. As I had said before, I think there's going to be a point where you're going to be sitting somewhere observing something like this. And it's going to put you into, you're sitting by yourself. You're sitting by yourself and you see two individuals clinking the glasses. And it sparks a thought. It sparks a thought. It kind of gets the gears grinding in your brain. Kind of the wheels are turning there and you're like, what is, there's an inner dialogue that's happening as it's happening. And you're observing like a fly on the wall. Asking yourself questions. Potentially about this. It could actually be that this is the waitress. That's very abstract, but... yeah. It puts you in a space where you've come to a realization about the grinding to a halt of something that was intended to be. So the Knights are action cards, of course. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck. Virgo energy again, but we could also see this as Gemini, thinking back to Gemini season again. But again, this is going to put you in your head about where you're at a standstill as opposed to something. It's almost like, when did I go from, the inner dialogue is like, when did I go from having a strategic, methodical plan of how to put things in motion, how to take action forward, to everything grinding to a halt, whether everything's slowly grinding to a halt. And now there's stagnancy. This is what kind of gets you thinking about that. How did it come to that stagnant, standstill energy where there's no forward action, no momentum whatsoever? There's an analysis going on in your head about this. Like, when did I go from being the person who went out and broke bread with some, and this is just one of the questions that is kind of going to pop up in your mind, I feel like. When did I go from being the person who was going out? I had the waitress bringing us drinks and we were out and we were having our time and we were toasting, to now I'm getting, delivery at home by myself every night. I don't necessarily know how accurate that is. When I get it in here. What's that gonna do for you? We'll see. Are you going to elevate yourself based on this? Yeah, where did the time go? Look at that. Where did the time go? Can you see the clock there? Where did the time go? Let's see if this is a part of your journey towards elevating yourself to the balcony, or are you backsliding to the basement? Are you going into the depths of your soul here with this, or are you elevating yourself higher? You know, that was easy. The world in the reverse with the 3. Yeah, okay, so it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a backslide here, Scorpio. You might indulge a little bit more than you would like to. You might be at a party or a gathering of sorts, and there's going to be some gossip among women about things, or you might hear something from a group of women, or you'll be sitting there and a group of women's going to start yakking about something. This is a gossip hen party. It's 3 women chatting about something, chit-chatting about something, gossiping about something at a gathering. Could be a bachelorette party, baby shower, any type of birthday party, any type of celebration like that, about something that didn't end, something that hasn't transformed, something that's kind of like the merry-go-round of crazy, a reconciliation even, fixed energy of Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius. But yeah, it's, yeah. You might not like what you're hearing, but it's like, it's a song that never ends. You might actually say something. It's like, Jesus, it never ends. It's like, that's what you're saying to yourself here. Jesus, it never ends. He never shut the fuck up. It's like, you can actually, like, everybody's all at the party, and these chicks, instead of having a good time, they're all sitting there shit talking to other people. And you're looking around wondering why you gotta sit there listening to that shit when you could be hanging out with this hot chick instead. I don't know. But there's something about how things are not transforming or ending, and it's same shit, different day, or same song, different CD player. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so very top of the tower, we have what I'm calling the flag, which is the key point. The symbolism. But the key point, the biggest thing that you have to remember during August, and remember this is just August. What do we got for you, Scorpio? Okay. Work. Focus on honing your craft. There's something about the grinding of gears here. And look, there's that clock again, hey? There's something about the grinding of gears. You're either honing a craft, learning a skill, putting your nose to the grindstone. But there's something about really working hard at something, apprenticeship energy, mastering a skill. You could be the master and somebody else is learning a trade or something underneath you. But the focus should be on your work. You got all these other things that are related to creativity and inspiration and artistry, interlaced with some passion here. At the very end, you got a little bit of emotional stuff. But the thing that's kind of waving in your face up at the top, the key point, the big thing that you can't forget about is keep your eyes on the prize as far as your work endeavors go. So that's a thing. That's a thing. So try to remember that. You know what I mean? Nose to the grindstone. Figure out what you can, but, you know, always have a plan about how you're going to continue focusing on your work, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, you still have bills to pay. I wasn't even meaning to be poetic about it, you know, but, all right. No bullshit advice. Let's get you some oracle and then we'll be done. If you like what I do, hit this button. If you're not subscribed yet, I am putting up shorts every week as well. And since I'm done so early in August, I might start working on something else for the rest of August. If I can swing it. I don't know. I just like reading cards. One more for Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, what's your no bullshit advice? What do we have for advice? Well, that's like too many. I can't take like 6 cards now. It's like we're not playing Go Fish here, right? Yeah, somebody's going fishing. That's where they're going to have the big talk with themselves about what they need to learn. It's like, don't look at me, I'm hideous. Yeah, it's because that deep personal truth is something that they really need the time to really just, you know, no talking, the fish, the boat. Do you know what I mean? They don't want TV. They don't want to talk. All I hear is noise. Standing on the Shore by Empire of the Sun. Don't want to talk. All I hear is noise. Don't want to talk. What the hell are you waiting for? Get that shit done. If you're waiting for a sign, well, here it fucking is. That's funny. I think somebody else had that one. I don't know. This is bugging me. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, Scorpio. Like I said before, hit the if you like what I do, if it made sense to you. And don't forget to stop by again, subscribe if you don't already, because I really enjoy doing this. That's why I've been doing it for so long, and I'm going to continue doing it. So you might as well get notified when I post, or stop by more regularly by subscribing, and then you can get here faster and easier. Anyway, we'll see you when we see you next. Be safe, enjoy your time, and we'll